Hi, it's your legacy goddess, Ayikaile Davy. Happy Friday. Happy end of November 2018. I'm so excited to connect with you today. And I wanted to share a message about influence. I've been meeting a lot of people lately who are trying their best to get over the challenge of personal spending and how it's causing money problems and other problems in their life. So today I just wanted to share a story about how influence is a big component in tackling your biggest money problems and any other problems you're going to face. So let me share with you my good friend. Her name is Ketley Hyacin. Hey, Ketley out there. She is a superstar. She completed for her very first time the New York City Marathon. So earlier this month, she trained so hard over years, and it all culminated on that special Sunday morning. It was beautiful. I checked in on her from here in Atlanta. A ton of us just cheered her on, and just being so proud of her. I just still feel the goosebumps in, her accomplishing that huge achievement. So that was in the beginning of November this month. And so towards the end of this month, my daughter and I completed our first 5K race together. So if any of you are runners out there, a 5K is 3.1 miles. It's no marathon, but competing in any race takes a certain amount of attention and just a nice drive. So we're completing our first 5K together, my 9-year-old daughter Simone and I, and midway, we're probably about maybe 1.5 miles into it. We did a combination of running and walking together. So my daughter turns to me and we're approaching a hill. So we said, you know what, we're going to approach this hill and we'll walk the hill. She says, you know what, I don't know how Auntie Ketley completed a marathon. I could barely, get up this hill. And it touched me in that moment because I was like, oh, she, has it fresh in her mind that my good friend completed a marathon. And then we completed our race. We got through. We loved that feeling of them putting the medal around our neck, but it stuck with me. And today, I want to connect that message of what you do and how it affects others and also affects yourself. So let's talk a little bit about how your influence on others is very profound, and you don't always realize what impact you're having on the people around you. Now, it can be your children, it could be your coworkers, it could be your friends, family, anyone. There's this concept called the butterfly effect. Look it up. But if you're not familiar with it, it essentially it's kind of poetic in a way, and it refers to a butterfly being able to flap its wings in one area of the world, let's say here in Atlanta, and that motion being able to start a hurricane across the world, let's say in Australia. And it really speaks about the sensitivity of how influence occurs. And just as in the instance of my daughter, just happening to bring up my friend completing a marathon, my friend Ketley has no idea, what that influence in her achievement, who that's going to touch and who it has touched. And I want you to keep that in mind when you're facing your financial troubles. The biggest decision I see people struggling with is making the decision to take action to get out of a financial bind or a hard spot or a hard place. Being in that position can be overwhelming. It's stressful. It can cause family problems. I know divorce and the threat of divorce is, money problems are very tied to that, just challenges in relationships in general. And sometimes people don't know what to do. So what you can, if you're finding yourself in a hard spot financially and you've been there for a while and you're thinking about, what is one step that I can take to take one step closer to getting out of this tough spot? Think about your influence. So first, let's talk about your influence on others. Positive influence is obvious. So something like my friend being in the, marathon and it connecting and affecting my daughter, that's a positive influence. And what it establishes in terms of influence is a reference. Now, a reference a lot of the times is the only thing we need to break through our limits. Because what a reference does is it shows proof that, someone's been here before and they've been able to overcome this thing. So that allows me to believe that, what about me? Why can't I do the same? And when you're building references financially, you can be that person who does well or doesn't do well for someone else looking. I know I have 2 children, so it's very important for me to demonstrate to them how to be with money, how to engage with money, how to interact with what money you receive. And a lot of the times that's where people get stuck, is they've never themselves had somewhere. Hey, Nicole, how's it going? Yes, I'm so happy to see you here. So, like I was saying, when you have a reference of someone performing well with money, that allows you to believe that, I can do the same for myself. Or it can challenge you to ask yourself, why can't I do the same? Why can't I do well with money? And having the reference when you have that influence on someone else is something to consider when you're in a hard spot. Let's move on from your influence on others to influences on, hey, are you here, Nicole? Hey, yes, got it. Hey. And so I was just talking about influence that we have in our spending or if we're experiencing financial troubles. When we think about our influence on ourselves, that is another huge consideration. So I'll give you an example. A person who is doing well financially, when they walk into an office or walk into a room, there's a certain type of confidence that they're going to come with if they know their bank accounts are in order. They know they're spending and able to invest a certain amount per month. Now, imagine what it does, let's say if you're living paycheck to paycheck. You must question at some point, when you enter a space, are you neglecting or not being able to have that extra bit of confidence that's needed to perform in the activities that you're facing? It's my personal belief that our self-image and our personal opinion of ourselves is our most important asset. It trumps everything in my book. And when someone is experiencing financial troubles, that takes shots at their opinion of themselves. Because what happens? You start beating yourself up. You start thinking about what you should do or what you should have done. And you start beating up on yourself so much that it knocks some chips off of your confidence. And so if you accept that your confidence and your opinion of yourself is your most important asset, you have no choice but to address those areas in your life that are chipping away at your ability to perform well. I meet a lot of professionals and they are killing it at work. They're killing it in the boardroom. They're killing it in the bedroom. They're killing it on all aspects of their life, but with money. And I feel like people get to a point where they convince themselves that they can hide this one area and if they're performing well in all others, that will carry them forward. That will be enough. But I'm here to tell you that neglect of the areas that are not working well matters. It matters a lot, and it can be seen, and the energy can be felt when something is off about your performance in any area of your life. And we know that nobody's perfect. Everyone's not going to have everything operating at 100% all the time. But my message today is to, if you feel stuck, in particular about your spending, and in particular about how you handle money you receive, ignoring it is not something that can be sustained for you to feel like you're performing well in other areas of your life. And it's something for you to also know when we're talking about influence, is that yes, positive influence, it's going to happen, but I don't believe there are any neutral areas when it comes to influence. So you have the high where you're influential in a good way in people's lives and the way people see you and the way you see yourself. And then you have a low, or let's say a negative effect on your influence. I don't believe there's a middle ground, because as human beings, what are we here to do? We're really here to grow. Right? So if you're in a stagnation and a period or space where you think you're neutral and you think what you're doing is just, it's not going to have any effect, good or bad, I think challenging that is important, because this means no growth, so you want to aim, and we all want to aim to do our best in influencing others, and then being able to affect that positive influence on ourselves, so that when we show up in the world, we have that air of, you know what, I can handle this, I can do this. I'm not hiding in any area of my life. I'm not neglecting to handle some important business in my life. And as I go back to my daughter and how she referenced and had that reference when she's completing a 5K race of my friend who completed a marathon race, that to me is so profound in showing that you never know who is watching. You never know who is watching. And the takeaways again today are the influence on others will be seen and felt from you. Whether you acknowledge it or see it happening, it's happening. And the influence can go negative as well. And when it comes about in terms of the ramifications, you may not see it today. You may not see it 10 days from now. You may not see it a month from now. However, neglecting your financial house and getting your financial house in order, the longer you neglect it, the only guarantee is that things are going to get worse and worse. Like, that's the only guarantee and certainty, is that if you do nothing, that negative influence that you're having on yourself, that you're having on others, is going to make things worse. So what I want to leave you with today is this. If you're struggling financially, you are not the first person in the history of the world to have money challenges. You are not going to be the last person in the history of the world to struggle with money challenges. Everyone faces money challenges, whether you grew up with how to manage money or not. It's inevitable. But where you can affect your influence is exercise your power of choice. You are fortunate to be able to choose. Even if the last 3 years you did nothing, you have the ability today to just turn that all around by just saying, you know what, I'm going to put one foot in front of the other, and I'm going to maybe read an article about personal finance. I'm going to maybe reach out and get some help about seeing where I am, because some of it, in terms of when I work with clients, is not even going to the steps of, okay, let's jump into what are we going to do to fix it. A lot of the times we spend up front with just finding out where you are today. And sometimes it's not even as bad as you may think. But just know there are professionals out there who have studied about money problems, who have gotten degrees about money problems, and have the expertise to take your hand and walk with you through getting over that challenge that you feel may be insurmountable. So don't hold on to the problem. I want to say that, yes, Nicole, thank you for joining in today, and anyone else who may tune in, that you are not alone. And I believe in you. I know that you've done things in your life to prepare you to deal with whatever financial challenge you may face or come about. So hang in there, and I want to offer myself as a resource to you. So if you find yourself identifying with the message of your influence and you wanting to increase your positive influence on yourself and on others, I want to invite you to book a call with me. We can get on a call and discuss where you are today, where you hope to be one day, and maybe speak about as well, what's in the way, what has gotten in the way. And what if you want to reach out and book a call for us to hop on the phone together, I want you to visit mastermymillions.com/call. What I'll do is also leave the link on this post so that you can easily access it, and I will be more than happy to be a partner in helping you to, at a minimum, put one foot in front of the other to begin your journey on fixing whatever financial issue you may face. So again, I'll put the link in the post, but again, it's mastermymillions.com/call to reach out and just know that you're not alone. So thank you so much. I can't wait to reconnect again, and you enjoy the rest of your day. Yes, take care now. See ya.